So, Jeroen, we've made great advances in heat management, keeping horses cooler, haven't we? We've learnt a lot in recent years.
We have indeed. We made some studies already at Atlanta, and since then we have continued doing studies, especially before Tokyo 2020, and we have now really excellent heat mitigation protocols in place. And those include, of course, monitoring heat. We do that using an index called WBGT, and it measures sun radiation, humidity, wind speed, and how that affects the bodies of humans and horses. And that is usually lower than the temperature that people would see on their phone, that it says like 35. Then the WBGT could be maybe 31 or 30 or something. It depends on those factors. That's one important element. Other elements are cooling down of horses, and we can do that. We can use these kind of...
Well, I was involved in that Atlanta
were?
study. Yes, I was. And I remember, that's when we first saw these mist fans, basically. And of course, they themselves have made great progress. Can you show us how this works then?
Absolutely. We turn it on, so you have cold water is being fanned to horses and humans, and this gives good comfort, but it honestly doesn't cool down a horse properly. We're talking about 600 kilos of animal. So for that we use iced cold water between 10 and 15 degrees, and buckets of water is poured over the horse so they are cooled down. And we're also assisting with heat monitoring of the horses. We have thermography cameras, a system that we developed ahead of Tokyo.
And you're using those here?
We are
on
indeed.
site?
We have Dr. Kirsten Eid from Australia. She was also part of the Tokyo team.
Could we have a look at one of those?
Absolutely. Kirsten.
Hi, Kirsten. Could you explain how these work?
Okay, so we can monitor the horse. This is obviously not close to the horse, and this is, I just took this before in the indoor arena of them warming up the horse. So the handler in the centre while they were lunging one of the vaulters. And so you can see the horse has tack on, so it has the saddle pad on, it has bandages on its legs, so they obviously look cooler, and you can see its tail looks cooler. And we look at the scale to say, okay, obviously the horse's body is warmer than the person's just because they've got a bigger muscle mass, so they're going to get warmer. But still, for what we're seeing there, we don't consider that horse is too hot. We look at the scale of then looking at certain spots on the horse's body to see if it is getting it too hot for what we like, and then we would suggest to the riders that they actually do some cooling of the horse, have a little break, have a walk, even if it is while they're warming up to go in.
So, in short, you are monitoring the temperature of the rider and the horse, but let's focus on the horse during the training, during the warming up.
Yes.
Before they go in.
Yes, before they go in, because you can actually do some cooling measures before the horse goes in. That doesn't actually affect the horse. It's not going to make them tie up or anything like that. We can actually cool them. We get hot in this weather. The horses are working quite hard. Obviously, these eventers are very fit horses, so most of them are probably going to be totally fine because they're fit for the conditions, but we watch for any horse that seems to be struggling so we can step in, help the horse, and not risk any issues.
Possibly the most important item of it all is that horses are acclimatized for this, and the teams are used to provide support for the horses to cool down and also prevent getting too hot. It's also about scheduling. You don't want to compete when it's at the hottest of the day. So it also affects, we have done studies ahead of Los Angeles, we did certainly for Tokyo. We are monitoring closely here every day, every half hour to see how things evolve and what we can do to best adapt the situation to horses and humans.
So in short, the temperature of horses and the cooling down of horses is way up there in the FEI's importance.
It's an absolute priority, summertime especially, for us to keep a very close control over. And we have also produced a lot of material scientifically, but also for social media. We have the Beat the Heat campaign that FEI produced ahead of Tokyo. We have relaunched it this summer, and we will continue launching whenever we feel that there's a need for it, because this has to be trained. It's about knowledge, but also about skills you need to have in order to protect the horses in these situations. It's absolutely possible to compete in high WBDT, but you need to know what you're doing. And I think we have really good systems in place.